Jennifer Asbenson's innocence was stolen at the tender age of 19 when she accepted a ride with a terrifying stranger. Driven to the desert, tied up, strangled, Jennifer feared she would die.
And I just tried to beg him, please, don't kill me.
For years, she could not shake the terror she felt from being brutalized. Until she met this woman, who was suffering too after losing her 10-year-old son to a brutal killer.
Losing a child is something you can never imagine. There's just this incredible need to wake up, and you can't.
The last time Mika ever saw her son was the kind of moment any parent can picture. A perfect, bright summer day in Aroma Park, Illinois, 20 years ago. That fateful day, Christopher took off on his bike to meet his friends at the nearby river, just 2 blocks from home.
And all the kids in the neighborhood would get on their bikes, they'd ride down there, and they'd fish and they'd swim and they'd climb trees and goof off.
Chris didn't come home on time that evening.
Then all of a sudden, I just felt as if the wind had been knocked out of me. It was a real feeling, and there was this immediacy that I said, I have to go find Chris right now. I knew something was really wrong.
She set out on her own to search for him that dark night. A local officer spotted her exploring the woods all alone.
He got on his radio and he called for the search dogs and their handlers, and a fire truck then came out and put a big spotlight on the area.
For days, police searched for Christopher, and Mika held out hope that he was just lost.
They called me down to the fire station, and I thought I was going down there to see him.
Relief.
Just as I walked in, they were opening the van doors, and I lost it, because there was that bike. And then they told me, yeah, we found it in some woods about a mile away, and it was not ridden in there. Somebody actually had to have carried it, and it was hidden in these woods. And I really sunk to my knees. And then shortly after that, a diver came in with one of his shoes that they found floating in the river.
After that, every time she heard from police, Mika's blood ran cold.
Then each day they found something else, another clue here, a piece of his t-shirt in a tree, and his underwear somewhere else hanging from a twig.
Mika never gave up hope of finding him alive, even after she was told police had made an arrest, just 4 days after Christopher went missing.
They have Timothy Buss in custody.
Who is Timothy Buss?
He had lived in our community, and he had murdered a little girl. He was 13 years old, and he killed a 5-year-old neighbor girl. He took her and he did horrible things to her that no 13-year-old should really know about.
As Mika later learned, Timothy Buss did unspeakable things to her son too. He'd been released from prison only 12.5 years after his murder conviction. When police arrested him again, Mika learned Buss had talked to Christopher and his friends about fishing that day at the river.
This guy brought out his tackle box with his deep sea fishing lures in it. Chris got on his bike to head home. And the guy says, yeah, I'm gonna go too.
Nobody read into it.
Yeah, and it was a park, I mean, nobody's thinking anything different. And so somewhere in those 2 blocks is where he was grabbed.
Then, on a very black night, just 8 days after he went missing, Christopher's small body was found.
It is a very shallow grave. There's even a portion of the body that's sticking out of the dirt, and that it appears to be the outline of a very small torso.
Tragically, the news got worse. Christopher's mother was given details no parent ever wants to learn, but can never forget.
There's evidence of exceptionally brutal or heinous behavior indicative of wanton cruelty.
Christopher suffered. It took a lot of stab wounds. He bled out. The trunk of Buss's car was, the entire trunk was soaked. The carpet was soaked with blood. So Chris bled out. He stabbed him over 50 times. He tried to shield himself, he tried to fight, but he didn't know how. And that hurt really bad for me.
She never knew she needed to teach her son defensive measures, so Mika decided to take action. She created a self-defense workshop now known as Christopher's Clubhouse, hoping to help protect other kids.
Oh, do we hit somebody?
These kids aren't here to play nice.
You want to see him? You come see him. Come here! Ow! 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 Ow!
Instead, they're learning to fight back. Micah has also found a way to help other survivors, like Jennifer Asbenson. She came to Christopher's clubhouse hoping to lose her fear and found a kindred spirit.
Keep your eyes closed. Don't open them unless you're grabbed, okay?
Damn, looking fine. Yeah, you're gonna party hard tonight. Yeah, you know it. You know it. Come here! No! No! No!
Two women tied together by tragedy, and now triumph.
She's the warrior, I'm the warrior. We're on the front lines. We're doing what it takes to make sure that it doesn't happen to another person.
They even talked me into giving it a try.
I'm nervous.
It's instinctual responses immediately. So instead of being like this, that fearful thing, you're like, oh, hell no.
Hit me as hard as you can.
Okay?
All right.
You got it.
At first, I was pretty polite.
Could you leave, please?
But before long, Micah's training kicked in.
Back off!
Come here!
No!
Hammer fist, hammer fist, hammer fist, hammer fist. Hammer fist, hammer fist, hammer fist.
The ability to know what to do when the unthinkable happens seems to empower everyone who experiences it. Jennifer says her life has changed dramatically since she met Micah.
I think it's something everybody, every kid, every woman, everybody should know to protect themselves.
But for Micah, teaching self-defense offers her protection too.
I teach the women and I teach the kids and I teach the teens and I speak and I go out there and I wear a very, very strong mask, a very thick mask. And I don't even take it off when I'm at home.
Micah wants Christopher's clubhouse to be his lasting legacy, one she hopes will help protect countless lives.